6 News primary election coverage is sponsored by Centex Roof Systems, your hometown roofer.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us from wherever you may be. Tonight, 6 News is here to help you track the election results for the primaries. Polls just closed at 7 just a few minutes ago. If anyone is still in line, your aunt, your brother, they're still able to vote as long as they were in line by 7 o'clock. The results will slowly start to trickle in. In fact, we've got a couple statewide, especially up in the Dallas area, that have already come in. So tonight at the top of the hour, we'll join you as we track the results, and there's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, we may have and we may not have some of those results yet. As you can see, as Bailey just mentioned, DFW area is coming in pretty good, but as you can see right here in Central Texas across the Waco area, still nothing yet. But first, we want to walk you through what we are seeing. So Bailey?
Yeah, let's kind of explain how this is going to work. So let's take a look at the state's hottest race, the one everyone will be keeping their eyes on, and that is the U.S. Senate. It's blockbuster primaries, both Republicans and Democrats expected to be tight races, and they both have drawn national attention. So first, let's take a look at the Republicans. Right now, you can see on the left side of your screen, we got incumbent John Cornyn, Ken Paxton, Wesley Hunt, and Virgil Bierschwell. And this is expected to be a very, very close one, particularly between Cornyn and Paxton. Ken Paxton currently serves as state's attorney general since 2015. And after over a decade, he's deciding to let go of his spot to run against Cornyn, who's held his seat at the U.S. Senate since 2002. He's seeking a 5th term, and he hasn't lost a race since then, so we'll see what happens tonight. In one poll about a month ago, Paxton was favored by 8%, so it's very likely that this race with the Republicans in the U.S. Senate will go to a runoff, and that runoff will happen in May. And the runoffs happen because each candidate needs to get over 50% of the Republican vote. So something we've seen a lot in this primary election is we have a lot more candidates, and so we're expecting a lot of runoffs in a bunch of the different races. So right now, Adrian, you got John Cornyn pulled up. There's 120,000, more than 120,000 votes in for him right now. Like we said, early voting numbers are really just coming in since the polls just closed, but we can see that mainly in the DFW area, Ken Paxton, he's already got, let's see, this is Kaufman County.
Oh.
Yeah, 45.8% of the vote. Like we said, I mean, they're going to need over 50% of the vote, so we'll see how this kind of plays out. Obviously, just in Kaufman County alone, we're already seeing this could unofficially go to a runoff. But overall, I mean,
our totals,
yeah,
looking pretty good.
I mean, they are looking pretty good. I know Kaufman County is a little smaller county up in North Texas, but we are expecting these numbers to grow. And I mean, there's also the Democrat side of things. I know, Adrian, you've been looking at a couple of these, and
Yes,
you
I
actually
have.
went to James Tallarico's campaign stop not that long ago.
Not that long ago, just under a month ago, I was actually there. It was in Temple, downtown Temple. I was able to kind of see what his points were that he was running for this election season. I don't know too much about Ahmad Hassan. I know that he is one of the other candidates. If he gets enough of the voting, though, this could lead to a runoff. Right now, obviously 53% in these areas, in the DFW area. Jasmine Crockett is from Dallas, so obviously you probably expect to see a little bit more of her voter turnout in that area, James Tallarico being from the Austin area himself. But as you can see, he's about 18,000 votes right now behind Jasmine Crockett, who's at about a little over 112,000 right now at this moment. Again, still the northern part of Texas, those votes are coming in. But this race, those two big contenders, as we know, are going to be what we're going to be keeping an eye on. But here still in Central Texas, we don't know too much about what is going on here yet. We're hoping that those numbers are coming in pretty soon. And we can go ahead and take a look at our race for maybe Attorney General now.
Yeah, that's a good idea. This is another big race right now. Looking over at totals here, we can do a lot. This map is so interactive. We can do it by county, we can do it by state totals. So we got lots of different tools to show you. But let's talk about the state attorney general race. The incumbent, Ken Paxton, he's out, as we had just mentioned. And so this is the first time the AG's office has been opened in over a decade. The attorney general is part of the state's big three, along with the governor and lieutenant governor. For the Republicans, we've got Aaron Reitz, Mays Middleton, Chip Roy, and Joan Huffman. Huffman, yep, she currently serves in the Texas Senate representing parts of Brazoria, Fort Bend, and Harris County. And you may also recognize the name Chip Roy. He is a United States representative since 2019. He serves with the 21st District, which includes the Hill Country mainly. And State Senator Mays Middleton is from Galveston. He is a wealthy oil and gas executive, and he has reportedly put millions of his own money into this race. Maybe you've seen some of his MAGA Mays messaging. We've seen those on the airwaves
Yes, we have.
and mailboxes. so you probably recognize that name too. And then the last one we want to talk about is Aaron Wright. He is a former Paxton deputy and Department of Justice lawyer. So he has the endorsement from Paxton already, but he is probably the lowest. Actually, Joan and Wrights are really
neck and
close.
neck right there.
Yeah, but in early polling, it looked like Wrights was kind of falling behind out of the 4. This race most likely to go to a runoff as well. We were talking a little bit about how, we've seen a lot of more candidates in each of these races. So,
and for Mays Middleton, we're actually seeing some activity in the Central Texas area.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and click on that. Robertson County.
Robertson County, Brazos Valley area. So yeah, you are right. I mean, Mays Middleton has a, what is that?
That's about a 39%.
Okay.
He's winning. He's about 40% of the vote right now, at least in Robertson County. We can go ahead and hit the totals and see what he's kind of looking at. Overall, 110,000 votes. Of course, most of that in the DFW area. We will get more of those numbers. As we are saying, for those of you that may just be tuning in, this is coming in as we speak. This is all AP data, so we will be continuing to see these numbers fluctuate throughout the night.
Yeah. Here's the Democratic candidates for Attorney General.
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet. That is kind of shocking. Oh, wait, here, let me fix you. There you go.
Perfect. We were looking at a specific county, still working the kinks out on this one, but at the Democratic side, we have our running Nathan Johnson, Anthony Box, and Joe Jaworski, of course, where we have about 85,000 votes for Nathan Johnson at this moment. He is leading. We have Anthony Box, 32,000 votes, not too far behind the leader as well as of right now, but of course, Nathan Johnson looking like we're getting a lot of those numbers in, of course, in Robertson County still. He 171 votes, roughly around maybe let's say 400, a little more than 400 votes coming in so far in Robertson County, which is looking pretty good in the early polls. It is one of the smaller counties, so we will see how these numbers continue to shake out.
Yeah, and another tool we have on this interactive map, we can actually zoom into the Central Texas viewing area, and it actually kind of highlights the areas that we cover. And so, like we've been saying, polls just closed a couple of minutes ago, so we don't have a whole lot of numbers right now. I mean, it's actually a good sign for us if Robertson County is already getting numbers in. I'm like, okay, this is a good sign. Our production team, our producers, everyone working behind the scenes, we're expecting a late night, of course, and some of these counties take a little bit longer than others to get results in. So it's good news that we're getting some action from Robertson County. Oh, Coriel just popped up. Okay,
there we go.
We're going to start seeing a couple of things. Let me just bounce around here for a little bit, see what we got going on.
The race for governor's coming in a little bit in Robertson County.
So we're going to keep watching this. What's really cool, one of my favorite things about this, Adrian, is it tells us how many votes
behind the leader.
I know.
That is
it makes it so easy. I'm not a numbers person and I'm not a math person, so I'm like,
That's why we're in journalism, Bailey. This is why we let the mathematicians do the mathing, and we're going to go ahead and try to do our best at explaining all of this data right here. We're
nothing here.
Nothing in U.S. District 10, District 17. The Waco area is still not coming in. McLennan County, McGregor area, at least for District 56, Republican primary so far, nothing coming in. But our race for Senate kind of shaping out a little bit still. Of course, the DFW area, nothing in Central Texas. We're hoping to get some of those numbers soon. But Ken Paxton still trailing behind. If we go ahead, maybe we can look at the governor race, maybe, and see how that's shaping up.
Oh, we actually do have a lot more going on for like
government.
I said, it's going to come in very fluidly. So we're alerting this with you as we go. Some of these numbers coming in, but obviously Greg Abbott, the incumbent here, he's got 84% of the vote. We technically aren't expecting the governor race on the Republican side to go to a runoff, but as we've mentioned, there's a lot of candidates.
You never know.
You never know what could happen, but yeah, we got some results coming in now. Let's see what county.
Ellis County?
Yeah. Ellis, Dallas. Yeah,
okay.
He's got the majority of the vote in all of these counties right now.
Let's see. Let's check the Democrat side and see how it's shaping up. Gina Hinojosa's leading, at least in Montague County. We can go ahead and check. I don't think Dallas County is not. That is Dallas County. They don't have numbers there yet. Ellis County, we are at about 50. She's about 50% of the votes right now, so no runoff if it were to end right now. Obviously, the numbers are just starting to come in, but the runoff would only happen if she got less than 50% of the votes going on right there. But 57% overall for the Democratic primary so far, so it's looking like there is somebody pulling away, but 97,000 behind, like we said. Look at all these counties still in white. A lot of data still coming in. We will continue to look at that. Lieutenant Governor maybe next. Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Republicans. Dan Patrick, the incumbent. We also expected this one to kind of not be too competitive in this aspect, but Timothy Mabry in second right now, not too far behind, almost 200,000 behind, but we do have some Central Texas data.
We sure do. I love that this is happening like as we speak. Come on. There we go.
There we go.
Coriel County.
Shaping up, 82% of the votes, about a little north of 3,200 people so far have voted in favor of Dan Patrick, the incumbent. Timothy Mabry not too far behind, around 3,000 votes. And as you can see, Perla Hopkins and Isala Wuchner in third and fourth at this moment. But if you want to go ahead and click on Robertson County or Lieutenant Governor as well.
Let's go ahead and look at the Democrats for Lieutenant Governor while we're on Coryell County. Right now, Vicki Goodwin has 47.3% of the vote, has the lead right now, only 1,800 votes in for the Democratic Lieutenant Governor polling here. You wanted to look at Robertson County. We'll go ahead and stay on the Democrat polls right now.
This one's pretty close, 35 and 34% right here. Only 2 votes behind the leader. That is the closest we've seen so far. Obviously, as we said, a smaller county, so it is going to be a little bit of a tighter race you might expect. And then only 22 for third place, Courtney Head, just a couple votes behind the leader there. So that is expected maybe to be a tight race, something that we have to keep our eye on there on the Democratic side. If we want to go ahead and maybe see if some of our numbers changed in House District. Oh, that's popping up. What county is this? Williamson County.
We got Georgetown area. Gerald's also included in that, and a couple other cities, Leander, Cedar Park, a little bit south of Bell County, not as much as our viewing area, but we definitely want to keep an eye on much of the state, especially this so close to home. But Williamson County has 57.1% going to Vicki Goodwin right now. And then let's go ahead and look at their lieutenant governor seat. Nothing's in yet for them. These are just slowly coming in. Let's go ahead and go back to totals for the state.
Okay, Houston area starting to pop up now. We didn't get any of that earlier, so we can go ahead and see what's going on down south. Again, Dan Patrick, the incumbent, as we've kind of expected. We've been saying not much of a competitive race going on here. Still 28,000 votes behind for the next closest competitor, so we will continue to see and follow this as well. And what is that going to be, around Galveston area maybe?
Yeah, this is around Galveston area, Galveston County. I was like, this is a little tiny little spot on the map.
I'm new to Texas,
County,
but I'm picking it up. I'm learning the area slowly, so we're seeing that it's still Dan Patrick there as well, 16,000 votes ahead of the next closest competitor as well. So we can go ahead and play around with this a little bit more. Galveston County's got some good numbers in so far. Vicki Goodwin, and this is for Lieutenant Governor as well. Let's go ahead and check the Senate race again.
I know, that's our hot ticket item right now.
John Cornyn's still up as of this moment. Votes still trickling in. We are still going to keep an eye out. Let's go ahead and see. I don't think 56 or 13 has come in yet. Those are our more local races so far. Pat Curry, the incumbent. I've actually gotten to speak with Pat a little bit about, his selling points, and obviously we just heard from some of our reporters earlier today that one of his main selling points to voters this election season is going to be getting a mental health facility in McLennan County in this area, a big priority of his. So we'll see if the voters feel the same way and kind of support him in that. And Ralph Patterson, also the challenger, trying to do his best, making it a challenge.
Both are McLennan County natives, so I know they both will have their separate followings, and obviously voters, we're expected to see good turnout for both of these. It's been a very competitive race there. Let's go ahead and look at House District 13. This one also heating up for Central Texas. House District 13 covers Northeast Waco, Clifton, Fairfield, Mejia, a little bit of Falls County too. So this one is another one we're going to be closely watching for our closer at home. The incumbent, Angela Orr, she is the incumbent, and then she's running against Kathleen Wall, also goes by Cat Wall. We actually talked to Cat Wall earlier today. If you were watching any of our newscasts, she's very excited about the results for tonight, and we actually didn't get a chance to talk to Angela Orr. We've talked to her multiple times over her. I think she's been in office for at least
for a
2
while.
terms.
I believe so.
We'll have to circle back on that information, but we do know that whoever wins this Republican Senate district, House District 13, they will go ahead and face Albert Hunter. He is the uncontested Democrat. That will automatically be set up for November. So we're not expecting a runoff here because there's only 2 candidates. But of course, anything can happen, as we all know. Let's go ahead and see.
Our totals again.
Not much other coming in county-wise. Here's some new ones.
Out towards San Antonio area.
Yeah, we're going to keep watching this very, very closely, but yeah, not much coming in right now. We expect this to change over the next couple of hours. We're going to be doing hits at the top of every hour, 8 o'clock,
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, our late newscast at 10. We're going to be here all night with you watching as these results come in.
Well, Bailey, if you want to go back to 56 and 13 and just click on those really quick, just to explain to voters, the interesting part about this, you know, I live in Waco, so I guess this affects me in particular. So for those of you that do live in Waco, it is split. So whoever wins this district will be taken care of, as Bailey said, this western part of Waco, this McGregor area as well. And then 13, if you'd like to switch there, that would be Angela Orr, the incumbent. She's currently sitting on that seat. She would be taking care of all of downtown, pretty much from Magnolia. If you've been to downtown Waco, that is pretty much where her property or her district kind of starts, the line for her property, and everything east of that going towards the Dallas area, obviously Hillsborough up here. So if you've ever been to the Buc-ee's up there, you will know that is where we're going up there. But that is an interesting race just to see how that kind of shakes out, especially since they will not be running against, I mean, Albert Hunter is running unopposed. So that will be an interesting race to keep our eyes on for sure.
Let's go ahead. Nothing more here. We can turn on a heat map. Heat map's not really showing us anything else other than the hot red right now, and that's obviously for incumbent John Cornyn. Like I said, only 14% reporting. It's still so early in the night, so we're going to keep watching this alongside you. Of course, we're going to be back here at the top of every hour. We're learning this tool just like you. We also have this available on our website, so you can go mess around with it yourself. That's going to be at kcntv.com. You can learn how to look at all the different races, whether you're looking more closely at the Democrat race or obviously the Republican side of things. We really have this all covered for you, and it's a really easy tool.
It's really easy. Just click on it, play around with it. You can learn it in a couple of seconds. Maybe if you're anything like my father, it might take you a little bit of some more time to kind of play around with this thing. But of course, you can just go ahead, tap the area, tap who you want to see. Okay, now we got Dan Patrick. You can switch to Timothy Mabry. The colors will change. Obviously, he is not currently leading this race, so you will not see any colors on the heat map in yellow. But if he was, it would be yellow. If Perla Hopkins was winning, it would be green, and so on and so forth. So you can go ahead, like Bailey said, play around with it. It's going to take a little bit of time. It took us a little bit of time, so we're going to go ahead and keeping it, trying it out. That's it.
And I do want to point out that all of this data that we're getting through this system is from the AP, so it's all very official. This is us just making up our own numbers here. All AP numbers, so that's going to keep on updating. As you've seen us in the last 15 minutes, it's updated as we've sat here. So we've got a couple of things we got to keep our eye on. We saw some close contenders, especially in our smaller counties. We know smaller counties have huge implications because not as many people come out to vote, or maybe they just don't have any residents. So we'll be able to watch very closely on some of these races. But we're going to send you back to whatever we have streaming right now. It's available for free, but we will be back here in about 35 minutes.
In about 35 minutes. We'll see you a little bit after 8.
6 News primary election coverage is sponsored by Centex Roof Systems, your hometown roofer.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Tonight, 6 News is here to help you track the election results for the primaries. Polls closed at 7 o'clock, and as you can start to see behind us, if you joined us at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock's a different story. We're finally starting to see a lot of these numbers start to come in and trickle in across the state. And tonight, at the top of every hour, we did so at 7. We're doing so now, and we'll be back here again at 9 o'clock as well to track all of the results. Right now, we have results for many of the races going on across our state. So we're going to go ahead and walk you through it. Bailey, let's look at our race for senator first.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Adrian, we got a lot more color on the state of Texas map here. A lot of green and red. The color red is going to be for the incumbent, John Cornyn, the green for Ken Paxton. So technically, looking at the map, it almost probably looks about half and half, but right now John Cornyn has 43.7% of the vote, and then Ken Paxton 39.3% of the vote. Paxton is currently 35,000 votes behind the incumbent John Cornyn. Of course, still very early on, only 35% reporting right now. So of course, all the white you see in here, those numbers, those ballots, they haven't come in yet from counties across the state. So that's a look at what's going on. Total statewide, but let's go ahead and zoom in on Central Texas. We have a lot more coming in now. Earlier, we, I think, had Coryell and Robertson. That was about it. So finally seeing some other counties coming in, and I mean, this is very interesting to look at. We have Bell, Milam, McLennan, Limestone, Brazos, all voting more so in favor of John Cornyn. Meantime, San Saba, Mills, Coryell, and Robertson are leaning heavier on Ken Paxton. So very interesting to look at that. I think it actually represents what the state entirety looks like. It's about 50-50. Pretty much. Or at least it looks like so on the map. But this is what's going on here. Well,
we can go ahead and click on each specific county as well and see how that's shaping up here in Bell County, where we are at currently in Temple. About 47% of the votes are going to the incumbent John Cornyn, and 32% are going to Ken Paxton. And what we didn't see earlier was McLennan County kind of funneling in. Bailey, if you want to click on that and see how the race is shaping up there. About 50% of the vote going to the incumbent there. So we are starting to see more of the numbers trickle in. Again, Falls County still not in yet, but we will continue to keep updating you as we keep getting those numbers. We can go ahead and maybe look at the Democrat side of this race.
Sure can, and let's go ahead and go back to totals. So here's what we have for across Central Texas. Obviously still some other counties not reporting, which is actually pretty interesting, is on the Republican ballot. We had some popping up for Republican, San Saba, and Mills, but if you switch back to the Democrat ballot, those aren't there. So we're going to have to look further to see if these pop up eventually later. Maybe there's just no Democrat votes coming in from those counties, so we'll keep watching that. But Jasmine here, unclick Jasmine Crockett for me. There you go. Gotcha. There we are. Okay, so there they come. Okay, so San Saba, Mills, they do have some Democrat ballots coming in. Tallarico, yeah, 52%. Something we do want to point out again is that each candidate has to have over 50% of the vote. If they don't, it will go to a runoff, and we are expecting both the Senate Republican and Senate Democrat to go to a runoff election. And we do want to tell you that eventually there will be check marks when the AP decides to call either a runoff or a winner of the primary election. So that's something to keep in mind as you go throughout the evening.
And at least as of right now, there will not be a runoff, at least at this point, as Tellerico has 52% of the vote overall statewide in the state of Texas. If we go ahead and zoom out, Bailey, maybe hit that zoom button. Perfect. We can kind of see how things are shaking up in the DFW area where Jasmine Crockett is from. She earlier had most of the counties out there. It's looking like it's flipping towards Tellerico right now. I was able to attend a Tellerico town hall earlier this month, or last month, excuse me, in February, as he was speaking to voters out here in Temple, and there was a good voter turnout. And as if we look into Bell County, can we zoom back in again and see how that's shaping up? At least Bell County is actually going with Jasmine Crockett so far. That's the majority, 65% of the voters there. McLennan County, I know Tellerico was there last week. It looks like maybe that presence is being felt a little bit more as he was just there. And I believe Jasmine Crockett was there not too long ago the other day as well.
Yeah, and she was also in Colina as well just the other day. We had 6 News crews out there. So definitely, as people are on the campaign trail, they're trying to make as many stops. I heard multiple times from multiple candidates, they're trying to make sure rural Texas, which, you know, not all of our areas are probably considered rural, but some of them are, but they're trying to make sure their footprint is across the entire state, just not in only the big cities. So that is a look at some of the Senate races, of course. Of course, there's also a lot of big other races. That Senate race is going to be the top one. Every eye is on that. It's gotten nationwide attention. It's bringing in a lot of money. So implications are very high there. Let's go ahead and talk about the governor race.
Okay.
Go ahead, Adrian.
Yeah, the incumbent Governor Abbott obviously doesn't look like he's being challenged at all at this moment. About 582,000 votes above the second place right now at this moment, 82% of the vote across the state. And if we look into maybe the Central Texas area, Bailey, if you zoom in for us so the people can see, McLennan County and Bell County have some numbers in so far. Let's look at Bell County, 83% of the vote, and McLennan County we have about 83% of the vote as well. Pete Chambers about 9,000 votes behind, almost 10,000 votes behind in McLennan County. So he is easily kind of pulling away in this race. If you want to go ahead and switch it to the Democrat side, and we can get a look at that. In McLennan County, Gina Hinojosa, 50%, overall 61% across the state. It looks like she is around almost 500,000 at this point above second place Chris Bell.
Yeah, also looking back at the Republican side, it looks like AP has already given Governor Greg Abbott a check mark. That is the first one we're seeing on this. So it looks like the AP is already looking to call that. We do know that Governor Abbott has a watch party going on in Austin. We expect to be able to hear from him throughout the night. So these results aren't too shocking on the governor Republican primary. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit more. We'll zoom back out for you. Let's talk about Lieutenant Governor. Dan Patrick is the incumbent, and of course he's got a check mark too.
Yeah, these were the ones we were talking about earlier, Bailey, that we thought were going to be going with the incumbents, that we weren't really expecting too much challenge coming from these races. But if we go ahead and maybe look at the Democrat side, maybe somebody there, 52% for Vicki Goodwin across the state. It looks like she might be pulling away. No check mark yet. It is still only a little bit after 8 right now. We're still getting some more votes in. But as of this moment, across Central Texas, it looks like she's pretty much locked up the majority of the state, especially Central Texas. Bell, McLennan, Coryell, Falls, all of these counties have come and voted in support of Vicki Goodwin for the majority of this. If you want to go ahead and maybe look at the AG race, I know that that's one that's kind of drawn a lot of.
Well, and the AG is interesting because this seat hasn't been opened in 10 years. Of course, Ken Paxton has held that seat for a long time. He's now opening it back up by running for Senate. So we've been watching this one very closely. We knew it was going to be probably a close call. But going ahead to zoom out, looking at the entire state overall, let's head out of Mays and just look at everyone. Okay, so we're seeing some other colors on the map. We got some purple, we got some orange.
Chip Roy pretty much across the state is in the Panhandle. We got them in South Texas a little bit, going to the west. What counties are these over here? Pecos County? Pecos?
Pesos?
Pesos?
I don't know.
I know, I'm new to Texas.
We're not from that part of the state.
Well, let's bring it back close to maybe Central Texas as we see Williamson County not too far out. I think this is Bell County. Bailey, if you want to go ahead and click that for me. Bell County is 43% Mays Middleton right now, and Chip Roy not too far behind, about 1,400 votes.
Yeah, that's not much. And as we were also talking earlier in our 7 o'clock show, we knew that a lot of these races are probably going to go to runoffs because there's so many candidates. That's not something we typically see so often. I know polls very early on were talking about Mays Middleton and Chip Roy kind of being the top runners for the Republican side, of course, in the AG primary. So this isn't too shocking here.
Well, if you want to go to totals, the thing that's interesting me is Aaron Wrights was the one that got he got the sponsor from the former Attorney General. So obviously doesn't look like he's winning too many of the districts. I don't know if that's played an impact in whether or not he's been too successful tonight, but obviously in 3rd place overall in the state right now. So that is something to keep an eye on. Maybe he gets caught up a little bit. Yeah,
I'm curious if we hit his name, does he, no colors on the map, okay.
No colors on the map yet. Chip Roy, I think, will in a couple of these counties as well. And of course, as we said, Mays Middleton's kind of winning this race. But
let's look at the Democrat side.
Nathan Johnson, about 47% right now. Of course, as we mentioned earlier, you need about 50.1% at least at the minimum to prevent a runoff. So as of this moment, it looks like we will get a runoff. But again, a lot of votes still to be counted. All of Central Texas, it appears to be in favor of Nathan Johnson, at least voting in support of him so far. Joe Jaworski in a close 2nd place, only 170,000 votes approximately behind him at this time. So we will continue to keep an eye on this race as well.
I do want to go ahead and talk about Congressional District 31. This isn't one we have touched on so much, but this is area covering across Georgetown, Round Rock, Killeen, Temple, and parts of Bell, Williamson, and Burnett counties. It has historically leaned Republican. In 2024, former incumbent John Carter won with 64% of the vote. And as you can see,
He's keeping up with that.
He is.
64%, 60% almost right now of the vote, at least in this district that we see. And obviously, Bailey, this impacts a lot of people in our viewing area. We got a little bit of Belton right here, Harker Heights, Coppers Cove, Gatesville, Goldthwaite. A lot of these cities are out there voting. 53%. 59% in Bell County as of this moment. So it is going to keep fluctuating. These numbers are just trickling in as we said, but this is going to be, looks like it's going to be Carter's district to lose as of this moment.
Yeah, of course, unofficially only 59% reporting, but it is leaning that way. We'll go ahead and look at the Democrat side of it. Justin Early, 61.3% of the vote.
You want to hit totals because this is just for Bell County, so
good call.
It is pretty. Looks. I just checked not too long ago, and it was about 50-50. So it looks like Justin Early is pulling away overall throughout the district. The Democratic side is between Stuart Winslow and Justin Early. And here's what we know about each candidate. Justin Early. He is a cybersecurity architect and U.S. Army veteran from Georgetown, and he is focused on issues such as affordability, economic opportunity, and protecting people's privacy against AI, which is obviously AI has been growing, so that is a very important issue to a lot of Central Texas. And as for Stuart Whitlow, he is an attorney and was the Democratic nominee in 2024. So it's a name that maybe some people back in 2024 have become familiar with. They are maybe voting for him because they have some familiarity with him. But we will continue to keep you updated. It's going to make it tough for either of these candidates. As we said, if we go back to the Republican side, that has been pretty much dominated by John Carter, and we will continue to see if he keeps his role.
Yeah, totally. And that's one we're watching closely. Obviously, it impacts a lot of locals, but we know at the state level, too, that's something that a lot of people are watching. So we'll let you know how that one plans out over the next couple of hours. We want to go ahead and look now at the governor's race. In the Republican race, incumbent Greg Abbott is winning the nomination by a long shot. We talked about this earlier. He's already got that check mark. We're not really surprised by this. He's been the governor since 2015 and the longest serving incumbent governor in the United States. I know you just got here.
I just got here.
But you probably had a feeling that was the case.
I had a feeling that was the case. He's obviously got a big support in Texas in the time that I've seen. So we'll continue to see what he's able to do for the state. And I know that, yes, obviously he's already got the check mark. That was, I believe, the first check mark we've seen tonight. So we will continue to see what he does as he leads our state in the future.
A governor's term is typically 4 years long, and there are no limits on how many terms a governor can run. So I think that's one thing Governor Greg Abbott has seen is he's seen support over the last several years, and he keeps going again and again. So other candidates include Pete Chambers, Evelyn Brooks, and Arudo Espinoza. So we can see they are not favoring next to the incumbent. And like we had talked about, this was something that we were kind of expecting.
We were expecting this, and if we go back to the Democrat side, obviously Gina Hinojosa was one of the ones. Her numbers went up, I think, even from the last time we checked, even about 7 or 8 minutes ago. She was about maybe 50-something% now at 61% across the state. Obviously dominating here in Central Texas. We got Waco, McLennan County right here at about 51% of the votes. So we will continue to keep an eye on this, but it looks like Gina will be pulling away in this race as well. Still early. We don't have all the numbers yet, but as of right now, it looks like she is in the lead. And she is a member of the State House representing District 49. So that is what we know about Gina as well, which you can expect from her as she if she is voted in.
Yeah, I know earlier when we first got on here, we were talking a little bit about our big races back here at home. House District 56, that is the incumbent Pat Curry running against Ralph Patterson. These numbers still aren't in yet. This is something that we are watching very closely. I knew some early voting numbers were coming in from McLennan County, so I think it's just taking some time to get them reflected. Other one is House District 13, Angela Orr against Kathleen Wall, also known as Cat Wall. Another one we're watching. No numbers with this one yet, but we will remind you, yes, whoever wins this primary will automatically go face-to-face with Albert Hunter. He's the uncontested Democrat. So we are expecting for this race to not obviously have a runoff and the ballot to be set for November. And as a reminder, all these results, all these numbers we're talking about are from the Associated Press. So they're all real data. And then also, all unofficial, of course. Everything has to be counted, made official by local leaders and state election officials. So everything that we're going over right now, all unofficial, and a lot of them are just winning the nomination for the November ballot. So it doesn't mean that they won tonight that they are automatically in their new positions.
Not official yet. Not official yet. We are not. These are not the winners. They are just winning the nomination to go on the ballot in November, and then you can go ahead and, of course, exercise your right to vote once again in November. The interesting thing with those districts were that half of Waco are basically in and out of 56 and
Yeah.
District 13. That is something we talked about in our 7 o'clock show. It is very interesting. As you can see, this is District 13. It's taking the eastern part of Waco around downtown. This is Angela Orr, the incumbent's district as of right now. And she spoke a couple weeks ago. I was at a story actually covering the restaurant business and how they were voicing their opinions and what they wanted to see from lawmakers. She was there. She talked about basically her district is from Magnolia, if you guys have made it down to downtown Waco, and it's going to be everything east of that, east of the railroad tracks. And then incumbent for District 56, Pat Curry, will be taking over everything west of that, of downtown. So you can see it's a very interesting district. We will continue to keep an eye on it, but as of right now, again, as Bailey said, these numbers aren't going in. McLennan County historically maybe has
A little slower process.
a little slower process to it. We'll say that. So hopefully we get these numbers in by our 9 o'clock show, as we will be back here for that, of course.
Tracking all these numbers. We're here staying up late with you watching this. This is a great tool. You could actually go to kcntv.com and find this interactive map yourself, and you can kind of click around. It's really easy to work with. You can switch between, you know, the Democrats or Republicans, whichever one you're looking at. If you want to zoom in on Central Texas to see how your neighbors are voting, you could also do that, or look at it obviously across the state. So this is a new tool for us. We want to give you live updates as, like you said, we came on here at 7. There was like nothing on here.
There's barely anything on here, so I'm glad we had something to talk about this time around, Bailey. It's
Yeah.
been pretty good, and we're seeing the numbers. At least Central Texas, pretty much all of them are coming out for senator as of right now, governor as well. So we will continue to keep you all updated as this night continues to go. It's going to be a long night. We said it, so we will be back here again. We hope to see you again very soon.
6 News primary election coverage is sponsored by Centex Roof Systems, your hometown roofer.
Hey everyone, thanks again for joining us at 9 o'clock. Tonight, 6 News is here to help you track the election results for the primaries. Polls closed at 7, just about 2 hours ago. And as you can see already, we are getting more results in every hour. If you joined us at 7, there was barely anything popping up here. This map looked pretty much white, Bailey and I were talking about. But tonight, at the top of every hour, we have joined you trying to track the results. Right now, we have the results for many of those races going on across our state. So we're going to walk you through what we're seeing. Bailey, let's start with the Senate race first.
Yeah, Senate race, that's the biggest one right now. Nationwide eyes are on this. Also, it drew in the most money, and that's for both the Republican and Democrat side. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on. We are expecting both sides to go to a May runoff. That's just because of how many candidates are involved. But looking at the Republican side, the incumbent, John Cornyn, 42.8% of the votes in the entire state. Once again, only 50% reporting, so more results will be coming in over the next several hours. Ken Paxton, 40.6% of the vote. He is 26,000 votes behind Cornyn. There was a lot of early polling going on talking about Paxton and Cornyn being the two that go to the May runoff. So not too shocking here on the Republican side of things. Let's go ahead and look at the Democrat side of things.
There we go. It's starting to work. Earlier, Bailey, you and I were talking about 7 o'clock. It looked like Jasmine Crockett was very steadily ahead in these polls. And then around the 8 o'clock hour, James Tallarico pulled ahead at about 50%, and it looks like he is remaining there at about 53% statewide. If we go ahead and hit the Zoom button, maybe we can get a closer look of what's going on here back home. It is McLennan County. We're going to go ahead and click on that. About 50% of the people there are voting. He's ahead by only 200 votes. That's still a close race, at least in McLennan County, over Jasmine Crockett. We know that Tallarico and Crockett were both campaigning here in Central Texas. Throughout the last couple of weeks, as I mentioned earlier, I did attend the Tallarico event in last month in Bell County, which was in Temple. But Jasmine Crockett not too far behind. Let's go ahead and click on Bell County, Bailey. You got me. 65% of the votes. Tallarico trailing a little bit right there, around 5,500 votes behind Crockett. But as you can see, it hasn't really made too much of an impact in the total landscape of Texas, as he is still up by around almost 100,000 votes at this point, 92,000 votes and counting. He is up. But again, 48% have been polled so far.
Yeah.
It's just unofficial numbers at this point.
Yeah, still very early. I do want to go ahead and talk about the governor. We talked about this at 8 o'clock. This has already been called. AP has already called this one. Incumbent Greg Abbott has 82.9% of the vote. He's got that check mark over there. That's what that means, is that that's already called. On the Democrat side of things, this hasn't changed much either. Nope.
Gina Hinojosa, it was ahead at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and again here at the 9 o'clock hour. Still pretty much in control of this race, about 600,000 votes ahead of Chris Bell, who is in second place at this time. It looks like those are going to be the two that we're going to see face off in the election in November, Bailey.
Yeah, I wouldn't be, and we actually just got more numbers coming in now. It's funny, this one just went green. I wouldn't be surprised if AP goes ahead and calls Gina very, very soon. But we'll just have to see. Obviously, we've got several more counties that need to come in. Another race that has been called is Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, Republicans. This one isn't shocking either. He has that check mark, 85.8% of the votes for across Texas. And of course, still many counties haven't even submitted their early voting numbers. And so this is also not shocking here. Looking at the Democrat side of things, this hasn't changed much. And so it's been very interesting to see over the last 2 hours, really, is not much numbers have changed. We were talking really early on at 7 o'clock that we had no numbers for our local races. We do have those now.
That has changed a lot. I think the only one of the major races that's really changed was the Tallarico Crockett race so far. I think, as we said, Crockett was up early at the 7 o'clock hour, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock hour, now to Tallarico. But let's get those numbers for our local districts here. District 56, incumbent Pat Curry, as we said, taking over the western half of Waco. So if you live in Waco, it's pretty much from Magnolia west is going to be Curry's district as of right now, and it looks like he is going to stay in that district at about 56% polling right now. We about 5,000 votes ahead of Patterson at the moment. I was actually able to speak with Pat Curry a lot this election season, and one of the things that he's campaigning for and telling voters about is him wanting to get a mental health agency at least out here and in the area for a lot of the people that he says his constituents need.
Yeah, and both Pat Curry and Ralph Patterson are both McLennan County natives, so we do know that there is a local voice, going to be at the state level in Austin representing McLennan County, especially the western half of it. There is some Coryell County in here too. Looking at House District 56, Democrat, this is a little closer.
1,000
compared, yeah, compared to the McClellan or the Republican side of things. So yeah, a little bit closer here between Ashley Thornton and Janessa Givens. This is another one we've been watching really closely. We're going to have more on these results tonight during our 10 o'clock newscast, maybe some live reaction of maybe some potential winners here. Another one 13, we're watching.
Yep. The other half of the district we were talking about. This is kind of a split area for those that live in Waco. As I mentioned earlier, Pat Curry, everything west of Magnolia, of downtown, pretty much is going to be Pat Curry's district as it was, and Angelia Orr pretty much covers everything to the east of that, and she's the incumbent right now, about 2,000 votes ahead of Kathleen Wall, also known as Cat Wall, and as of right now, 60% of the votes. It looks like 34% of the voting is only in at this moment, so it's still early to call. Around 2,000 votes, that's easily swayable. We'll see what happens there.
And we're missing some major counties over here, so who knows if there's some more rural votes picked up by Cat Wall or if Angelina Orr will pick this up. So we'll watch this one. One race that has already been called by AP is, let me find it here.
That is this one.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, Michael Cloud. He is Congressional District 27. This is going to be outside of Houston, creeping up into Bastrop and Brenham area. So this is one that has already been called. He is the incumbent, so incumbent's kind of taking the lead in most of this tonight. He has 73.9% of the vote. It's still early, but AP's already called it. So this is one we're watching that's been called, the governor and lieutenant governor, and we'll have to see if any more get called tonight.
Of course. And on the Democrat side, let's go ahead and check out District 27 as well. Looks like Tanya Lloyd's pulling away here. 59% of the voting, at least in for this one. A little bit of a different voting percentage, but we are seeing 63% of the votes as of right now. Looks like she's pulling away, of course, as we get those final numbers. We can expect this one to be called pretty much 13,000 votes ahead of second place as of right now.
I don't think there's any, from my knowledge, there's not been any other races called. We haven't heard from our producers, so let's go ahead and zoom back out and talk a little bit about, let's see, how about Lieutenant Governor?
We have not talked about that yet.
Okay, Lieutenant Governor, we did talk about. Dan Patrick's already called that one. This isn't anything we're really shocked about. The incumbent, Ken Paxton, he's out. He is going to be leaving that office, and this is the first time that office has opened up in more than 10 years. So I think it was a little shocking for everyone.
Yeah.
But this is something that we're also watching for Lieutenant Governor here. Let's go ahead.
I think we haven't talked about Attorney General yet. That was the one that we were
we
were missing. Yep. This is going to be it, at least
That's
on the.
Not it. There we go.
Here we go. Mays Middleton. Nothing's much changed there. I think Chip Roy had a couple of counties we saw earlier. Maybe those have switched in Middleton's favor that we saw from the 8 o'clock hour. But if we go to the Central Texas area, we still don't have numbers for Falls, Coryell, Lampasas, or Milam counties. But Bell and McLennan, if we click on. That is why. We were not using it correctly. We clicked off of Middleton, and we can see that Roy does still have a lot of the counties, Coryell, Falls, and Milan. I am interested. Let's go ahead and click on McLennan County, and see how that's shaping up. About 45% of the vote, so this will probably end up in a runoff unless things change pretty drastically. Again, in a runoff, you need around 50.1 majority percent of the votes to prevent a runoff, and right now it's not looking like we're going to end up there, but only around 2,000 votes behind Middleton and McLennan County.
Yeah. They have Mays Middleton as majority. Let's go ahead and take a look at Falls just because it switches over to Chip Roy having majority of the vote. That one's way closer, 4 votes behind.
A smaller sample size, of course, as we get to our smaller counties. But of course, this is a close race. It's going to continue to be close, and we will see only 23% of the reporting so far.
Yeah, let's take a look at Bell. Bell's going back to Mays Middleton. He has 42% of the vote. And looking a little bit, let's see, statewide again.
I mean, it looks like Chip Roy and Middleton are, at least in terms of looking at the counties, they look about 50-50, but as you can see, the voting is not representing that. It looks like about half the counties are in Chip Roy's favor, about 42% of the votes. Oh, some numbers changed right there. About 42 to 30% of the vote is going Middleton, Chip Roy as of right now, and we can go ahead and maybe look at the Democrat side and see how things are shaping up for Attorney General. Nathan Johnson pretty much in control. Let's go ahead and click off of that and see how it's shaping up across the state. Central Texas, heavily voting in favor of Nathan Johnson at this hour as of the 9 o'clock hour, but things, of course, will continue to change. Joe Jaworski in second place, but again, 215,000 votes out, so we will continue to monitor that, as it already is at 50% voting. polling right now, so we'll continue to eye those numbers.
Yeah, and as you've probably noticed, I mean, these results are changing as we're talking. This is a great tool that we're introducing to you tonight. This is something that you can go take a look at yourself, mess around with it a little bit. You can switch between different races, whether it's Republican, Democrat, whatever you were looking at on the ballot. If you want to zoom in on Central Texas, look at a certain county, like Robertson County, we can see what they're doing with Dan Patrick and the lieutenant governor race. So this is a great tool for you to have. We haven't really messed with this one yet. Let's go back.
Zoom out a little bit.
Yeah, let's who do we?
Let's check out.
Let's go back to the AG.
Okay.
So we can turn the heat off, and this is just kind of showing where most of the votes are coming from. And you can see, obviously, Mays is still up in there, and then, of course, there's more Chip Roy. If you turn the heat back on.
I mean, even with the heat on, Houston area is still pretty heavily in Mays Middleton's favor, at least as of right now. And of course, 42% of the vote. It doesn't look like it's going to change anytime with 52% of the voting in. Of course, anything can change. We're not predicting anything in one favor yet, but we do see Mays Middleton clearly pulling ahead a little bit in this race.
Yeah, and we did talk about when a candidate has a check mark, that means AP calls it. But if there's two candidates that have a check mark, that means that AP is calling for the runoff between the two candidates. So we are expecting some check marks to be added across several of these races for either well, that one already has one, but for either a runoff or for a candidate to win the nomination to go to the November ballot. More and more votes are coming in, so I do like how we can see this from over the last 2 to 3 hours. This has drastically changed on colors.
It has.
We're filling out, it's like, I think of it like coloring a coloring book as a kid, like, oh, we took a break and now we're back and we've got more. So 54% reporting. It's so early. It's
so early. It's going to continue to be coming in as the hours kind of progress. We can go ahead and maybe take a look at one of the other counties in our area. Let's go to CD 27. Let's go ahead and check that out and see how things are shaping up. Down south maybe a little bit. Oh, we checked this one out earlier. Yes, we did. Let's go ahead and look at 10. About 58% of the people voting for Chris Gober right now, at least for U.S. House District 10. That is the College Station areas, Brazos County, those areas, and a little bit of Austin. These districts are kind of, as Bailey was kind of introducing me to, I'm new to Texas, so some of these counties are kind of shaped very oddly, but you can see a little bit portions of the outside of Austin area are also a part of this county as well, or this district as well.
This one probably won't go to a runoff. Looks like Chris Gober has most of it, but let's look at the Democrat side of things for House District 10. This one's a little bit closer. No one has the majority of the vote right now for over 50.1%. Caitlin Rourke has it right now, so only 63% reporting, so that's more.
We could end up in a runoff. At this point, 49.5%. She is close. She only needs about 0.6% more to kind of just call this race, at least for this election, this primary, so we will continue to monitor this one as well, as it is getting a lot closer in a race.
I'm expecting this one to get a check mark and to be called pretty soon. John Carter, the incumbent for House District 31, covering Williamson County, Burnett County, Bell County,
Georgetown.
Hamilton. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of areas. He is the incumbent. We were kind of expecting this to happen. There was a lot of good candidates in this race, but he's currently got 59.2%.
This was Bailey. And as we know, this county has this district, has historically run Republican, voted Republican. And in 2024, incumbent John Carter won with about 64% of the vote. A little bit less as of right now reporting, but again, 30% have been total reported. So we can maybe see that number pretty close to what it was about 2 years ago, not too far.
Yeah, totally. And then on the Democrat side of things, this hasn't changed much either. Justin Early still got it, 60% of the vote. I know you did a little research on them. We talked about data, AI.
That was one of the Early, right? That was one of the running points he was talking about, was protecting people's privacy from AI, as cybersecurity and AI continues to be a problem. I know we have done a lot of training in our newsroom on that topic, so we will continue to see how this race shapes up here as well. But Stuart Whitlow looks like he's taken over Hamilton County quite a bit, at 57% of the vote in that specific county, but again, everywhere else, Gatesville, Killeen, Fort Hood, Belton, Harker Heights, it appears to be Justin Early pulling away. Again, this is going to be a very hard district for the Democrats to kind of pull away from. As we said, it's historically been Republican, so we will continue to monitor this, as whoever wins will have a tough task ahead of them in November. Sure.
But I think it will be safe to say we'll have an idea on what that November ballot will look like tonight. Have we checked in on Senate District 22?
We have not.
Okay, yeah, we haven't. Okay, so this one's going to be also really interesting. McLennan County, Hill County, Bosque County, Hamilton County. This is Senate District 22. It goes all the way up into the DFW area and a little bit. This is Granbury Lake. I know that area very well. But David Cook, 68.7% of the vote. John Gimbel, 23% of the vote here in Senate District 22. John Gimbel actually used to work in McLennan County.
Okay.
So this was a race that I was expecting a lot more. Yeah,
let's click on his name. Nothing.
Okay. Yeah. So I was expecting a lot more of McLennan County to have some more votes in there for him, but of course only 50% reporting right now. So this is one we should probably keep an eye on, even though it has David Cook pulling the majority of the lead right now.
Of course, of course.
Let's see.
We can get to 13 maybe. Have we checked out?
Have we?
Yes, we have. That was one of the ones
yes.
in our district. Yes, in our
House District 17. We haven't touched on this one.
Okay.
This one, incumbent taking the lead right now too, and it also, let's see, 60% reporting. I'm not too shocked about this one.
No.
So we'll keep watching it. This is Milam County, let's see, Bastrop, Luling, Lockhart. So
Caldwell County as well. So we will continue to monitor this one and maybe check out the Democrat side on this and see how it's shaping up. Nothing. Oh, it's because we are on a specific county, isn't it? Let's go ahead and hit totals. Perfect. We got Mary Cleanse at about 61% right now, 62%, about 3,000 votes, 2,500 votes above second place, Frank Gomez, at least in this district. So again, looks like she's going to pull away. This could be called, but only 44% of reporting so far in this district as well. So we will continue to keep an eye on this as the night develops. It's still early, as we said. A lot of these numbers are going to be trickling in. McLennan County historically has been a little bit slower, but they seem to be getting most of their numbers in pretty well today.
It's been good to see. I was talking a little bit earlier, all of our behind the scenes people that are working good to make sure these numbers are staying updated, and of course making our social medias up to date if any race is being called. They're waiting patiently for these results to come in. So it's something we're all watching. I'm just kind of going to flip through here, see if any other check marks have come in, but it looks like things have slowed down just slightly.
But again, this tool can be used by you at any time. Just go to our website. We will have this interactive map. It's kind of easy to play around with a little bit. As you can see, we may have missed a couple things. They were still learning it out as well. We're trying to figure out all the logistics with this app, but it is very handy, and it lets you know how your neighbors are voting. You can zoom in, see how Central Texas is voting, how your neighboring counties are voting, and it is a great tool you can go ahead and play around with and see exactly who you want to see, what districts are voting for, and of course, you can check this out anytime on our website. Yeah,
we've got lots more of election results coming your way. We're going to be back here for 6 News at 10, where we're going to have live reports from some of our crews out in the field at some of the watch parties. And then hopefully this map will keep filling out and we can get some more numbers in.
Yeah.
But that's all our time for now. You are currently, after this, going to be watching just a loop of this updating live. So keep it here, and we'll see you back here in about 40 minutes.
6 News primary election coverage is sponsored by Centex Roof Systems, your hometown roofer.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on KCEN. And for those streaming on 6 Plus, I'm Adrian Carbajal.
And I'm Bailey Bates. Lots to get to tonight. Welcome in on Election Tonight. We're tracking live votes as they come in from across Texas, starting with the race for Senate. On
the Republican side, we have incumbent Senator John Cornyn, as well as Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. And as we can see, this has turned into a runoff. 42% of the votes for John Cornyn and 40% of the votes for Ken Paxton. So we are going to see this in the November election, of course.
On the Democratic side, we have Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who currently represents DFW, State Representative James Tellerico, who currently represents the Austin area, and also Ahmed Hassan, who could be the cause of a runoff if he takes enough votes to prevent Tellerico or Crockett from winning more than 50% of the vote. Right now, James Tellerico holding on just barely. Looks like he has about 74,000 more votes than Jasmine Crockett.
And multiple Republicans are now defending their seats in the U.S. House, including the representative for District 31, Bailey CD 31 over there, if you can go ahead and click on that. The district includes Bell, Coryell, Lampasas, and Hamilton counties, and it currently has incumbent John Carter, who has about 58, almost 59% of the votes. It has not been called yet, as only 38% of the votes are in as of right now. But as you can see, Valentina Gomez, we checked just a minute ago, and Raymond Hamden was actually in second place. So Valentina Gomez is steadily catching up right there, but it appears that incumbent John Carter is going to take this. He took 64% of the votes in 2024.
Now on the Democratic side of things, Justin Early, veteran and cybersecurity specialist who lives in Georgetown, going against Stuart Whitlow, a lawyer in Round Rock. Right now, Justin Early has by far the majority of the vote with 60.9% of that vote.
And looking at our other congressional seats, incumbent Pete Sessions is running unopposed for the Republican nomination for District 17, which covers most of our viewing area, including all of McLennan County. Leading on the Democratic side as of right now is Mila Flores.
Yeah, and there's no incumbent House District 10, which covers parts of the Brazos Valley. On the Democratic side, veteran Caitlin Rourke, college professor Don Marshall. This is another one that we are watching very closely here. So we'll keep you updated as we figure out what's going on with that race. Leading the Republican side now is Chris Gober, a lawyer and business owner. We do know that Chris Gober is currently in the lead of that race as well. And over in District 27, that covers the southern end of the Brazos Valley. On the Democratic side, we have Tanya Lloyd, who is currently leading that race at about 60, more than upwards of 60% for now. As for Republicans, incumbent Michael Cloud, he currently has the majority of the vote. That one has already been called with 73.9% of the vote. So we are also watching that one. We have more election results to get to in just a bit, but right now let's go ahead and check in with your forecast. Here's meteorologist Whitney Huddleston with more. Hey, Whit.
Good Tuesday evening, Central Texas. Sitting in the lower 70s, we go down into the upper 60s for low temperatures tonight. You guys, we are going to stay basically temperate. Why? Increase in humidity. Winds stay out of the south, breezy at times. We can wake up to patches of drizzle on Wednesday morning. Get your umbrellas out, keep them handy. Even if you don't get soaked on Wednesday, really good chances for some soaking rain as we approach and head through the upcoming weekend. We need rainfall, so this is good news overall. You can see overnight lows going to be just below that 70-degree threshold. So like I said, you're going to feel the sticky, humid type of conditions. Certainly feeling like spring when we step out on Wednesday morning. Weather impact alert beginning back half of Wednesday, rolling all the way through Sunday. Now the bulk majority of the overall rainfall is going to likely be Friday into Saturday. The heavier bouts of rain, but isolated thunderstorms going to be possible as early as midday tomorrow on Wednesday. So you can see Thursday, basically the same thing where we wake up to isolated activity. Thunderstorms going to be possible through that evening. And once again on Friday is when things really start to pick up overall. This is good news in the 7-day forecast. I'll show you what models are showing us. All right, Whitney, thank you. We're going to do a quick flyby of our statewide races. We'll come back to these in more detail later in the show, but right now we want to go ahead and start with the race for Texas Attorney General. On the Democratic side of things, we have Nathan Johnson and Joe Jaworski. Nathan Johnson taking the lead right now with 48.8% of the vote, only 63% reporting. Now, meantime, on the Republican side of things, we already have some decision making here. The AP has already called a runoff, a May runoff for Mays Middleton and Chip Roy. Those were leading heavily on
in the polls, so we were expecting this. Also, we want to talk a little bit about the Democrats running for governor. This race also already called. We know that Gina Hinojosa has already been called for the Democratic side of things. She will be on the November ballot, and going against her on the November ballot is the incumbent for the Republicans, Governor Greg Abbott. This one was called by the AP several hours ago. We do know that he has 82.6% of the vote. Abbott has served as Texas governor since 2015 and is currently the longest serving sitting governor in the United States. There are no term limits, so he will be on the November ballot seeking next term. Now moving on to the lieutenant governor, we're going to go ahead and start with the Republicans. This one also was what we were expecting. Dan Patrick, the incumbent, with 85.3%. He has secured the Republican nomination for the November ballot, and he has also held that office since 2015. For the Democrats, we're going to go ahead and take a look. Vicki Goodwin has the majority of the vote right now for the entire state of Texas. You can see it shown in this map that she has 49.3% of the vote. So that's just a look at some of our statewide races, and we'll get back to more of those in just a bit.
Yeah, thanks, Bailey. Multiple seats in our state and House and Senate will be back on the ballot this November. Fighting for the Democrat nomination for McLennan County, we have Ashley Thornton and Janessa Givens. We have about 57% in favor of Ashley Thornton as of right now. Janessa Givens falling a little bit behind at 43%, and running for the Republican nomination is incumbent Pat Curry and Ralph Patterson. This race has already been called by the AP, as incumbent Pat Curry has racked up nearly 70% of the votes thus far.
And we have 6 News reporter Juliana Jackson live at Pat Curry's primary watch party.
Juliana, how's it going over there?
Adrian Bailey, I'm here with Pat Curry, and earlier today we were speaking about this election, you rerunning the 11 bills that he passed in this prior legislative session. And so for today's vote, what do you think voters were looking for when they went to the polls?
I think they were looking for a politician and someone that would represent the district. Right. I mean, I think the Christian values that we carry here, I think saying what you're going to do and doing what you're saying, taking care of our children and our grandchildren, taking care of the rural community we live in, the water issues, the mental health issues, you know, all of the property tax issues, all the things that matter to all of our families.
Yeah. Earlier today when we spoke, we talked about the water infrastructure, tax issues, also data centers have become a big conversation. Is this something that you want to look further into and hear more comments about?
Yes, and David Cook will be coming in as senator. I'm pretty sure of that after the November elections, and I will tell you that he and I are on the same page when it comes to putting some guardrails in and also understanding the use of their resources. Most important thing there is transparency. Right? I mean, do we want the tax value? Yes, but do we want it at the cost of the future of our children and grandchildren? No. So it's a balance, right? And that's something that I think the state's going to be looking more into.
Yeah. And what are you looking forward to in this second re-election?
I'm looking forward to continuing with the education I've already had on how to be a representative and how to work within the Senate and the legislature and the governor's office and work on legislation and work with the local constituents. You know, there's so many issues that we solve and we help constituents solve behind the scenes. I would say 70% of our time is spent on that, which is such an honor to be able to do. There's so many people here tonight, you know, that have brought issues even tonight that we're able to know that we can move the needle on and make a difference. And it's an honor. I'm thankful to the voters here. I'm thankful they reelected me, and I will continue to make them proud.
Yeah, and then finally, as we're wrapping up this primary election, how do you think your campaign trail has been?
It has been a blast, honestly. I love it because I get out and talk to constituents, no matter which party you're voting in, right? They know they can come talk to me. They know that I listen to the things that they're saying, and they also know I'm going to call them back, and that we're going to work together to see if we can't solve the issues that they bring up. So I have to tell you, it's such an honor to get to go do this. It's hard, it's tough on your family, and some of the things that are said are just mean and nasty, but they're not truthful. And you can count on the fact that we'll just be straightforward and do the right thing.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would like to add for the voters and viewers at home?
Just a big thank you. I'm proud and honored by God to be able to do this, and I'll continue the path as they ask me to.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Pat. We look forward to seeing what you bring to the table this next legislative session. Live in Waco, Juliana Jackson, 6 News.
All right, Juliana, thank you. Also competing to represent McLennan County at the state level is David Cook, John Gimble, seeking the state senator District 22. Right now, David Cook has 68% of the vote. We'll keep an eye on this one as it gets closer.
Albert Hunter is the only Democrat running for State House District 13. The Republicans for House District 13 include Angela Orr and Kat Wall. 6 News anchor Adriana Alexander is live outside of a polling location in Waco and has been tracking this race all evening.
Yeah, she joins us now with the latest. Adriana, what can you tell us?
Well, guys, it is still early with more than 40% of the votes being accounted for in this race for State House District 13. As of right now, Orr has more than 9,000 votes, and Wall is behind her with more than 6,000 votes. More than 12,000 votes have been accounted for, with more than 50 of 118 precincts reporting their final numbers. Angela Orr is an incumbent, earning her seat in 2021. As for Kat Wall, this is the first time she has ran for a House seat for District 13. District 13 covers parts of McLennan County and all parts of Leon, Bosque, Limestone, Freestone, and Falls County. Whoever is able to get these votes needed in the midterm election will then head to the primaries in November to represent the Republican Party for District 13 and campaign to earn that position. Again, it is a little too early to tell as of right now as to who will get to that point, but we will continue to track that over on kcentv.com/elections. Make sure you get your results from there. For now, live in Waco, Adriana Alexander, 6 News.
Alrighty, thank you so much for that update, Adriana. Some Republicans running for the state Senate District 5 in Milam County, Brazos Valley. We have Charles Shortner with about 77% of the votes there so far. Larry Nance in second with about 13%, and Apollo Hernandez trailing in third with 11%. Democrats for the State House District 17 in Milam County are going to be Mary Clenz, currently leading at 61% of the votes, followed by Frank Gomez at 24% of the votes, and Robert Salter there in third with around 15% of the votes. Republicans for State House District 17 is led by incumbent Stan Gertz, who actually has 60% of the votes thus far, and Tom Glass in second with about 40% of the votes thus far.
Meantime, Democrats running for State House District 14, that includes the College Station area, is Janet Dudding and David Kessler. Republican Paul Dyson is running unopposed. Right now, Janet has 67% of the vote. Democrats running for State House District 59. This is covering the Coryell County area. Andrew Turner and Ethan Newcomer. Republican Shelby Slauson is running unopposed. Andrew Turner currently has the majority with 63%. Up next, we have a full look at your full weather forecast.
After that, we take a closer look at our big races and see how voters in our counties compare to each other and the rest of the state. We'll be right back.
Weather department is certainly ramping up here, middle of the work week, and we're going to begin rain chances. They're going to get better as the next couple of days roll on. We're going to wake up to warm, low temperatures. Wednesday morning, you likely don't need a light jacket because we're going to be sitting just below 70 degrees. 68 Lampasas tonight, 67 for Mejia, 69 low temperature for College Station. Why so high? Indicative of low level moisture. We're going to wake up to likely patches of fog down in the Brazos Valley pointing towards Houston. For some reason you're headed towards that direction. They likely have lower winds, very high humidity, and could have fog in motion. If you're not dealing with the fog, you could see a patchy drizzle here and there. Weather impact alert, possibility of isolated thunderstorms, especially our northern northwestern zones for the back half of Wednesday. If you don't get it on Wednesday, there are plenty of chances between now and Sunday. Thunderstorms can produce locally heavy rainfall, especially Friday into Saturday. So just staying up to date. If you don't have 6+ on your TV, that is where we, for free, you can download it, and we post all sorts of weather videos. We also stream radar currently during systems such as the one that is going to impact us over the next couple of days. High temperatures just going to be, I'd say about 5 degrees on average, maybe 10 degrees at most, depending on rain-cooled air on Wednesday afternoon compared to what we were dealing with earlier. This afternoon, we were sitting at almost 90 degrees, more like lower 80s on average for Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday afternoon and evening, we are going to have that level 1 and or 2 risk. Again, our northern counties favored for those isolated thunderstorms. Not everyone sees thunderstorms on Wednesday or Thursday. It's going to be more isolated in nature both days, and the heavier bouts of overall better rain chances are going to come as we roll on into Friday and Saturday of this week. You can see that patches of drizzle and little pockets of rainfall, just a quick downpour is going to be possible throughout the day on Wednesday. Best chance to see thunderstorms clustered together is going to be Wednesday late afternoon through basically when you're going to bed that evening. Brief gusty winds as well as brief downpours. Some folks could even rack up a half an inch of rain or so with this additional round. But again, not everyone sees a thunderstorm activity. It remains relatively isolated on both Wednesday and Thursday. You can see Thursday morning we wake up in the 60s going up to the low 80s as well. So overall, just recapping things, isolated thunderstorms back half of Wednesday are going to be possible. We wake up to very humid conditions. We basically repeat this forecast with isolated thunderstorms possible as we roll on into Thursday in the back half of the day. You can see that on Friday, rain can't pinpoint exactly where it's going to be. This is a longer ranged model data that we're tapping into Friday, Saturday into Sunday. But when you start to see these yellows here forming on Friday and especially into Saturday, this is indicating that potentially we have quite a bit of rain on radar. Multiple rounds projected for the viewing area, which is great news. Things start to clear out by Sunday, by the way. Some of us could get close to 3 inches of rain. I think it's going to be widespread of more like an inch or so. You can see that dependent on who is getting thunderstorms training or multiple rounds of rain in the next 4 or 5 day time frame could rack up several inches. We need it, you guys. We have drought conditions across Texas, so that is the good news. By the way, do you know we spring forward on Saturday night? We will see the sun start to go down a little bit later.
6 News primary election coverage is sponsored by Centex Roof Systems, your hometown roofer.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. Taking a closer look at how our Central Texas counties voted in this Senate primary. Senator John Cornyn led most counties, but if you look at the heat map, which we're going to go to right now, all these colors are faint. You can see that we're seeing some light greens, some light reds. It's not looking very, I guess the darkest shade of red we have is towards Corpus Christi down here in the south. Pretty low as of right now.
Yeah, and that means neither he nor Ken Paxton got a strong lead. In fact, across the state, neither of them dominated any one county. Cornyn only reached the 60% make in one county up in the Panhandle. So this just in, we're hearing now from Cornyn, who says Paxton may not win against whoever the Democrat nominee is.
If he's nominated, there's a high risk that Paxton would lose this Senate seat, taking 5 congressional seats down with him. And you don't have to take my word for it. In public polling in the last few months, U.S. Senate nominees are either tied with or beating Paxton if he were the nominee. Ken Paxton as the nominee would be a dead weight at the top of the ticket for Republicans running all across this great state.
So right now we know that John Cornyn and Ken Paxton are headed to a May runoff, and that's clear because neither of them got the vote. AP already called it. That's what that check mark means. We talked about how faint those colors are across the state. So we wanted to show you what Central Texas is voting. We know that in Falls County, technically, there was only 12 votes separated between John Cornyn and Ken Paxton. So very close race in Central Texas.
Let's go ahead and take a look at McLennan County. Down there in the Waco area, about 8,000 votes came in, 2,500 votes separating the two between Cornyn and Paxton. Again, not a clear winner, super clear winner in either area so far. I mean, light green, light red, we're seeing all over the place. Even here in Bell County, around 9,000, almost 10,000 votes going in for Cornyn as opposed to nearly 7,000 for Ken Paxton. Lampasas County, again, same thing. 500 votes, around 466 votes separating these two. So it was close in a lot of the counties, at least here in Central Texas.
Yeah, and I mean, really, it's like that across the board. We were talking just a little bit about how faint these colors are. And in fact, that's completely different on the Democratic side of things. It's a little bit more polarizing. You can see the colors get really bold here in this map. If we want to go ahead and take it full so our viewers can see it a little bit better, but you can see the yellows and greens. They're more prominent on the Democratic side of things when it comes to the U.S. Senate. And of course, we have James Tallarico, Jasmine Crockett, and Ahmad Hassan seeking this seat. And right now, barely holding on with the majority of the vote is James Tallarico with 51.6 of the vote. And this is a very interesting thing to look at because Jasmine Crockett, she is from the DFW area, representing that area. And so you can see she got most of those votes up there, but James Tallarico, he's from the Austin area. And
he got them all in Austin.
I mean, so we were kind of expecting this to go this way. So we've been watching this one very closely. It kind of flip-flopped. We were looking at this at 7 o'clock. We saw more Crockett votes. Now we're seeing majority Tallarico votes, but not by far.
Not by far. And if you want to go ahead and zoom in and we can see in Central Texas a little bit what it was looking like, at least in terms of our heat map. Falls County, the only one really, really strong. I mean, we got a couple out here near Burnet County, and Lampasas still, again, nothing coming in over there yet. But Falls County, you can see heavily Jasmine Crockett. That's how you can kind of see the darker the color is. Again, once again, that means the more votes a particular person got in this race. And as you can see, Bell County, McLennan County, still nothing in there yet, but Bell County, again, predominantly Jasmine Crockett voter turnout around 14,000 people. So 7,000, nearly almost doubled James Tallarico, at least in Bell County. So this wasn't as close as it was, at least nearly in Central Texas, in our close viewing area for sure. Taking a closer look now at the race for Attorney General, Republicans were pretty split, although Mays Middleton won a larger majority in DFW, Houston, and Austin.
Now, in our area, the difference in votes between Middleton and Congressman Chip Roy was sometimes in the single digits, but Middleton won over the Republicans in most of the counties. So let's go ahead. These colors are really faint. This is really the most faint I've seen them for across the board. Let's look at, right here, Chip Roy and Mays Middleton. Mays Middleton only behind by 4 votes to Chip Roy. So this is a very tight race. Our producers were watching this one to see how, Central Texas was voting, especially in the Attorney General race. Looking at Bell County, there's a 1,200 difference. McLennan County, 1,800. But yeah, Falls was only 4. Let's see, Robertson was only 8. So our more rural counties, there's nothing there yet.
Obviously less people. They're going to be a little bit of a closer race. But on the Democratic side, Nathan Johnson won by a moderate majority. We can go ahead and hit totals right here, around 48%. So obviously this is looking like it's going to go into a runoff, at least with 65% of the estimated total votes in right now at this moment. It is still close, but around 700,000 people so far in the state voted in favor of Nathan Johnson. Here locally in Waco, if we can zoom in the Waco area, it seems our heat map, it favors Nathan Johnson, but Falls County, obviously, again, we can go ahead and click there and see 182 people, around 106 person difference between Nathan Johnson and our second leading vote getter, Joe Jaworski. So obviously there's still a lot of ground to be made up, around 35% of the voting in that specific county, in Falls County. But total, I mean, obviously, these votes are still coming in at this very moment, Bailey. That's something we were talking about all night.
Yeah, it's still very early. And just a reminder, there's only been a couple races that have been called by the AP. This data we're referencing, these votes coming in, is all from the AP, so it's very solidified. Of course, everything is unofficial at this point because some state election officials have to go and solidify everything. But knowing that a couple races have already been called, including, you know, Republican Senate, I don't think Democrat Senate, no, but this one I suspect to be called.
This is actually just a Falls County, so let's go ahead.
I suspect some of these races to get more check marks and more approval from the AP to go ahead and be called. So just a couple of races that have been called. The governors on both ballots have been called already. Lieutenant governor has also been called for the Republicans, not the Democrats yet. You just saw that change live here. So this is something we'll be keeping an eye on. You can also do that on your own terms by going to kcentv.com. It's a very interactive map that you can play around with yourself.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with a final look at your forecast after a quick break.
Final check at your 7-day forecast. Isolated thunderstorms, especially our northern counties as we head on into the back half of Wednesday. Patches of drizzle and or fog are going to be possible with a lot of humidity in the low levels tomorrow morning. Isolated thunderstorms and otherwise light pockets of rainfall going to be possible on Thursday. Friday and Saturday is when most of the precipitation will fall area wide. Could see some stray thunderstorms then as well. We start to clear out Sunday, but you can see plenty of chances for moisture here in the next week.
Alrighty, thanks, Whitney. Remember, if there's any race you want to take a closer look at, and if you want to see how your county voted for each candidate, you can use our interactive results map on our website, kcentv.com.
We can also send that map to you personally, straight to your phone. Just text the word vote to our number 254-777-6000. That's all our time for now. Texas Today will have more election breakout for you starting at 5 a.m.